The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, I'm Lynn Trong with the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, and I'd like to welcome you to today's webinar hosted by the U.S. Department of Energy, Solar Decathlon. I'm excited to be your host today for this webinar, which is intended to help those who are interested in the next round of Solar Decathlon. Our speakers today will share information to help you make a more informed decision and to help those who already know what they are doing to create the most successful application possible. We will have time at the end of the presentation for questions. Before we begin, I'll quickly go over some of the webinar features. For audio, you have a couple options. You can listen through your computer or your telephone. You should already have a panel that lets you pick the mic and speakers option. If you can mute your computer, it'll eliminate the possibility of echo and feedback. Panelists, we ask that you please mute your device while you are not presenting. If you have any technical difficulties, you can always contact the GoToWebinar's help desk at any time. If you would like to ask a question, please do so using the questions pane to type in your question. If you are having any difficulties viewing the materials, know that today's webinar is being recorded and will be posted on the Solar Decathlon website. And now for today's presentation. Our webinar today is the official Solar Decathlon competition update and kickoff. Our speakers today are Holly Jamieson-Carr, our U.S. Department of Energy Solar Decathlon Director, Rachel Romero, our Design Challenge Competition Manager, Joe Simon, our Build Challenge Competition Manager. And with that, I'd like to welcome Rachel to start today's presentation.
Thanks, Lynn, and thank you everyone for being here today. Our agenda today will cover what is the Solar Decathlon and some history of it. And then we're excited to share with you what is new about the Solar Decathlon in the coming editions. We'll talk about the structure of the Solar Decathlon so you understand the competition and how to succeed, how to build your successful team, and get started by filling out the team application process. With that, it's my pleasure to introduce Holly Jamieson-Carr, the Acting Solar Decathlon Director. Holly?
Thanks, Rachel. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining the webinar today. And if you are not familiar with the Solar Decathlon, this is a collegiate competition comprising 10 contests that challenges student teams to design and build highly efficient buildings which are powered by renewable energy. We've been holding the Solar Decathlon now since 2002, and it's a long-standing tradition here at the U.S. Department of Energy. Next slide, please. So the competition structure includes two challenges. One is the Design Challenge, which is an annual design-only competition in which teams design zero-energy buildings in both residential and commercial divisions. We'll talk a little bit more later about some exciting developments in our Design Challenge divisions. In the Build Challenge, student teams over a period of about 2 years design and build zero-energy homes or multifamily units. Teams in upcoming Build Challenge events will build their homes locally. Both challenges include 10 contests, which are shown here, ranging from cross-cutting topics like architecture and engineering to specific performance criteria like comfort and energy performance. The Design Challenge, as I mentioned, is an annual opportunity for students and faculty to develop critical skills for a career in the clean energy workforce by collaboratively working to design a zero-energy ready building over a single academic year. For some teams, students work only in the spring, but many teams take the opportunity to work on the competition for the full year, with design and presentation work occurring in both the fall and the spring. Teams are supported with building science training and are encouraged to create market-ready solutions for their target market, As much as possible, we encourage teams to work with industry partners to provide real-world guidance and constraints, and potentially allow students to work on real projects. In the spring, finalist teams will present to expert jurors, network with their peers, and hear from thought leaders during an immersive weekend competition event. In terms of the Build Challenge structure, this is a biannual competition which began, as I mentioned, in 2002 with a public event on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. Since 2005, the Solar Decathlon has been held biennially in the United States for a total of 9 competitions, growing technology and workforce benefits with each event. The Solar Decathlon has also expanded internationally and now includes 6 additional worldwide competitions. The pictures you see here are from the very first Solar Decathlon competition in 2002. The impact of the Solar Decathlon to date has been tremendous. It is truly global with over 40,000 alumni, millions of houses visited by the public, and countless connections to industry partners such as manufacturers, builders, and design professionals. The competition has grown internationally as well, and those international competitions I mentioned have held 12 international events in the past 10 years. So that covers the highlights of the event in the past and the enormous impact that we have had together so far. Student participants have gone on to every career you can imagine. They've been changing the world every day. If you want to read more about the details of some of our alumni and what they are doing in their careers, check out our #SD Living the Dream blog posts on the Solar Decathlon website. And we think, of course, that your university and you individually should participate in the next Solar Decathlon. The Solar Decathlon really does represent the best of the best in building design and innovative implementation of the latest technologies and strategies. Universities engage students with industry partners in meaningful ways, and students learn by doing. Innovations are developed and explored, and multidisciplinary teams create truly impressive results. Competing in the Solar Decathlon provides students with the opportunity to learn not only about building science, but also about financial analysis, teamwork, oral and visual presentation, and other skills key to ensuring the viability of building projects in the competition and beyond. So I'll turn it over now to Rachel to talk through the details of our 2021 Design Challenge. Rachel?
Thanks, Holly. As with past collegiate competitions, the 2021 Design Challenge really challenges teams to fully integrate comprehensive building science with energy efficiency and renewable energy and innovation. As Holly stated earlier, there is the option to start your participation in the fall and then really work hard on the project in the spring with a competition in the spring. The 2021 Design Challenge will be offering 7 divisions that are separated by building type, and we're hoping to bring in up to 70 finalist teams to present to juries in the spring. We provide a no-cost building science education program to help students and faculty get started with what they need to compete in the competition. And we'll talk more about industry partnerships and design partners, but these are strongly encouraged. An industry partnership is someone such as an architecture or engineering firm or rater that provides experience and kind of some training to teams. Our design partners are projects, often real-life projects, that are partnering with a team to provide experience and work on a real design. So we're strongly encouraging both of those this year. So what's new in 2021? we are really excited to have restructured our 10 contest, which we'll talk about shortly. We have the new retail building division, and as stated earlier, expanded capacity for finalist team presentations. Also, we're really pleased to be integrating with the 2020 Build Challenge in our 2021 Design Challenge activities for greater collaboration and idea sharing. So, teams must perform well across 10 contests to be victorious, just like in a true athletic decathlon. We're excited to have some new contests this year, along with the typical architecture and engineering. We have market analysis, which is really looking at the market and the financial feasibility of your project. Durability and resilience is looking at the envelope of your building and how it withstands events. We're very excited to be bringing the Embodied Environmental Impact Contest in to look at life cycle impacts of the decisions being made for your building design. Integrated performance looks at bringing all the pieces together. Occupant experience, how do your occupants feel in the space? Comfort and environmental quality to ensure that the space is healthy and comfortable. Energy performance, of course. Is your building energy efficient? And then presentation. How do you present to the jury? How does your team present the story and choose their target market? As we said, teams must do well across all contests to win. So for the Design Challenge divisions, teams compete in one of 7 divisions. Really, teams should choose a division that aligns with their passions and interests as a school or as a team. If you've been doing a lot of work on commercial projects or plan to do that after graduation, maybe the commercial projects are more appropriate. We are very excited to introduce the retail building. This is a small to large size retail building that really looks at selling a product in a space and what that means for energy efficiency. Of course, we still have our other commercial pieces, office building, elementary school, and mixed use multifamily from previous years, and our residential, suburban single family, urban single family, and attached housing. So for the 2021 Design Challenge, your applications will be due on October 20th, which is 2 weeks earlier than previous years. So please note that date and make sure to get your team applications in. All teams that complete their team application will be accepted and are encouraged to begin work as soon as you know that you would like to compete. Although we do know that many teams won't start until the spring. You will have the option to submit an optional project introduction, which the organizers will provide feedback on prior to the end of the year. Then in February, project progress reports will be due. This is an interim submission, and finalist teams will be selected from there. We'll be selecting up to 70 finalist teams, 10 in each of the 7 divisions, to come and compete further with a final project report at the competition weekend at the National Renewable Energy Laboratory in Golden, Colorado. So the competition event, we always get a lot of questions about this. We will do, the students, teams will give a presentation and complete a Q&A session with division jurors at the competition event. We will award first, second, and honorable mention winners in each division. Then in a very exciting event, 2 grand winners will be selected by a grand jury based on 8-minute presentations to all the teams at the awards banquet. So our first place teams give a short presentation and grand winners are selected. So with that, I'll turn it over to Joe to talk a little bit more about Build Challenge.
Great, thanks so much, Rachel. As mentioned, the competition consists of 10 contests ranging from 10 cross-cutting contests or topics, and the design challenge and build challenge compete equally across those 10 contests in 2 parallel challenges. For the build challenge, we task teams to build locally and compete nationally. Thinking forward towards 2023, this really thinks about how you can work with local partners, local industry to really build what you design, build what you're passionate about across all of these different 10 contests. To think about this in the context of a 3-year project cycle, so between now in 2020 and 2023 for the build challenge. Can we go to the next slide? Thank you. So in the 2023 build challenge, teams will be successful by completing their house for measurement and exhibit by spring of 2023. Working backwards from there, they will work throughout the fall and in summer of 2022 for construction, and they will work through design in 2021. That means now is the time to start building up your project team, building up support from your university, and thinking about what you might want to do as a school to be successful in really building one of your student designs and working with industry partners to be successful. How does that overlap with the design challenge? We're talking today about the 2021 design challenge, which will conclude in April of 2021. Teams who compete successfully in that design challenge will be able to consider moving towards the build challenge and really working to build their design. Similarly, if you're planning on the build challenge, but you just can't quite get to that level of construction, you can move back to the design challenge if desired. Ultimately, the design challenge is an annual competition, while the build challenge happens approximately every 2 years, as Holly mentioned earlier in this presentation. So how do you choose which competition that you want to do? Ultimately, you should think about what you want to achieve as a school, as students, as faculty. In the design challenge, as described, teams will spend 1 or 2 semesters or quarters based on your collegiate institutional structure this fall and into the spring to complete design of a building. This could be done extracurricularly or as an integrated part of a class. Sometimes an entire studio will work towards a particular division and submit their best design, or other times, multiple teams may come from a single school. You could work on elementary school or office buildings, multifamily or single family houses. The total cost of participation is limited to your time, travel, and the team application fee. You can also participate annually, which may work better for more consistent coursework integration or for schools who are learning to integrate building science into their curriculum. National and international teams of all collegiate levels are welcome to apply for both the design and the build challenge. In the build challenge, teams are committing to actually building the house that they design. This typically requires substantially more students, university support, and integration with industry partners. The financial resources compared to historical Solar Decathlon Build Challenge has been reduced as the house is built permanently in your own community, and you can really work to think about the long-term use of that structure to help fund its construction. So if it's going to be occupied or sold as a residence, used as a research center, or as a visitor center, or something in your local community to really exhibit some of these partnerships, you can think about that long-term use as being part of the funding necessary to build this house. For both challenges, teams are expected to develop industry partners that help guide their efforts. But for the build challenge, these industry partners are critically integrated into the team, often providing support for construction, guidance for permitting, donation of materials, and ultimately the end use of the house. Together, teams can think, how do they want to be integrated? Do you want more of that hands-on learning with the students working closely with construction and overseeing some of those challenges? Or do you want to look at larger scale projects such as office buildings or retail, or think about something that is annual? Ultimately, we believe that the competition provides an opportunity for schools of all stripes to be able to participate successfully and really learn how to be prepared for industry opportunities in energy efficiency and renewable energy. For the Build Challenge of 2023, we are asking teams to really build, operate, and exhibit in your own region. DOE expects to provide $50,000 in funding to each of 20 competing teams. For the Build Challenge, teams must design and construct fully functional houses. They will showcase those houses in their communities, and then the students will travel to NREL in Golden, Colorado to present their solutions to jurors as part of that annual competition that Rachel mentioned earlier. Maximizing energy performance of the designed house is really critical to success of the build challenge. We want teams to think about how they demonstrate their integration with market, demonstrate their integration with innovation and industry, ultimately benefiting from the national recognition and international participation of Solar Decathlon to gain support of their partners and sponsors. Teams are able to see this option to realize their design projects in the real world and have a long-term impact on their community, their industry partners, and really the growth of the industry as a whole. We really recommend that industry faculty and students begin developing institutional and industry partner support now to enable a successful 2023 participation. What we expect, as mentioned, is that for 2023, this will be a local build only competition. Teams should not expect to have to transport their house to a centralized competition as has existed for most of the Solar Decathlons of the past. Teams will be accepted at the design phase without reservation as long as you show minimum qualifications to indicate likely success in the competition. You are not competing against each other to be one of the design teams. Ultimately, we expect to close applications in October of 2021, and teams should plan to complete their schematic design in the fall semester or fall quarter of 2021. Up to 20 teams will be selected to receive funding in April of 2022 to really advance them towards the built environment. We should think about teams using that spring semester or into the summer of 2022 to secure permits, get final funding, understand that you're digging foundations, getting ready for construction, so that the 2022/2023 academic calendar can be really productive for that team to build their design. Ultimately, teams will finish construction in early 2023, and that's when we'll measure the houses, you'll exhibit to your own community, and you'll plan for presentations at the NREL campus. To evaluate the teams, teams are scored in each of the 10 contests that Rachel talked about earlier. So you'll earn individual points in architecture, individual points in engineering, in many of the other measured contests. The team that has the most points overall wins, but teams can choose different things that they're really proud of or are passionate about or most appropriate for their university, their design, and their target market. The house performance will be measured extensively by organizers, and we will provide all the measurement equipment necessary to do so. This can help to highlight some of the innovations or research of your university. So if you have developed new mechanical systems, new wall cladding, new windows, other types of partnerships with industry, this is a great way for your university to showcase some of the research and innovation that it is pursuing. We also have multiple juries that score your team. So you can think about you're passionate, you can involve students from communications and engineering, from industrial design or furniture design, interior design, architecture, and more. So really think about how the competition can really enable the cross-silo participation and collaboration of your university. We do look forward to scoring all teams across these 10 contests. In summary, you should really think about the Build Challenge as enabling design locally and enabling build to integrate with your university partnerships and with all of the companies that are in your local region. We believe that the local build format will allow this greater access and lower costs of commitment to collegiate institutions, with an emphasis on impacting your region, your climate zone, and your university partnerships. We think that the STEM emphasis of learning by doing, by working with the real world construction, by executing your designs, provides a great opportunity for your university to build its success in the community. And finally, thinking now and speaking to you now about the 2023 Build Challenge, we believe that there's sufficient time for you to develop institutional support for this project. So I know it is early in 2020, but you can spend all of 2020 building up support from your university leadership, finding partners, building up students, integrating it into coursework so that you can really have a successful design that is completed by the spring semester of 2023. With that, I'll turn it back to Rachel to give some tips that apply to both challenges about the Solar Decathlon. Rachel.
Thanks, Joe. Now we're going to cover some information that applies to both and what really comprises a successful team. And here we're defining a team. There may be more than one. University, a college or university may have more than one design challenge team. A team for both build or design may be comprised of one or more collegiate institutions. A couple definitions to that. So successful teams know the details of the competitions, and they know this because they read the rules. The rules have all the details on the project constraints, the contests, information on submissions, what the jurors will consider, and more. So read the rules, read them again, and reread them before every submission. Successful teams are multidisciplinary. They, as Joe said, come from many different programs. You may have architecture and engineering, you may have construction management, landscape architecture, marketing, communications. So look now to be building a multidisciplinary team. Successful teams plan for good team communication. They know who's responsible for what. So make sure you make a plan to do that well. As Joe was talking, we want to secure commitments from collegiate institution leadership soon. And that goes for both design and build, that the college understands the commitment you're making and is ready to support. Submit deliverables on time or even early. Early submission ensures that you are successful in the competition. And developing industry partnerships. Industry partnerships, which we'll talk about here a little more, are vital to both challenges. Create a compelling and complete project. So telling your story is behind the design is a really important piece of the competition. It conveys all the work that the team has put into it. Successful teams explain what they're doing well to the jurors and the public and other teams. If you created something good but no one knows about it, you won't score well. And successful teams read the rules. Seriously, we don't want you to lose points because you didn't all understand the requirements or the constraints. Successful teams, as we've said, also have industry partners. Industry partners are encouraged to provide a market-ready perspective for proposed solutions and to help integrate building systems into the building. So industry partners could be in the form of builders, architects, city officials who know the local area, contractors who have done work, developers, energy auditors who can train team members on software, local engineers, tradespeople and products, and other collegiate alumni who have potentially competed in the past. Some areas of assistance, as we've said, in looking at the site, understanding the codes, especially locally, understanding building materials, lighting systems, financing, especially if that's not your team's strength, any appliances and interior furnishings. So successful teams have industry partners, maybe a couple, and use those partners for assistance along the way. Our team application site is designed to be straightforward and simple, and you can access it from the Apply page on the Solar Decathlon website. It should be completed by a single person, preferably a faculty advisor or team leader for each team that is applying. If you have multiple teams applying from your school, each application should have a different person submitting an application. The 2023 Build Challenge applications are not open yet, but we encourage interested faculty to stay in touch with the 2021 Design Challenge and 2020 Build Challenge. You'll also be able to attend the competition event at NREL to collaborate and connect with your peers in April of 2021 if you're interested in applying for the 2023 Build Challenge Edition. In the Design Challenge, all teams who successfully complete their application will be accepted to participate in the competition. To fall into this category, the team must indicate your intended division as part of the application, pay a non-refundable $100 application fee, and complete, and then we'll accept all complete applications. Participating teams will be announced after the team application closes. So with that, we hope that you'll join us for the Solar Decathlon. Make a plan with your collegiate institution, read the rules, and plan to get your team application in. So with that, we'll take questions, but we always encourage you, if you have questions, to contact us at solardecathlon@nrel.gov. Lynn?
Great. Thanks, Holly. Thanks, Rachel, and thanks, Joe, for all that great information. With that, we'll start our question and answer session. And the first question, Holly and Rachel, it's for you. If you could clarify, Holly had mentioned the design partners, and Rachel, you mentioned the industry partners. Can you clarify the difference between the two, and do teams need to go out and find design partners like they do industry partners?
I can take that one if you'd like, Rachel.
Go ahead.
All right. So the primary difference between design partners and industry partners is that industry partners actually support and provide guidance from a technical perspective on the student team's design. So you might have enlisted an architect or a mechanical engineer or both to review your designs from a professional and technical standpoint and provide you with feedback and guidance. Whereas a design partner, you can think of as more of a client. So design partners are typically building owners, perhaps for our schools division, it would be a school district or multifamily building portfolio owner who actually has building projects that they are planning to undertake in the future. And this particular person, the design partner, provides, instead of technical guidance on your designs, acts as a client and really provides you with real world requirements for that project and feedback from a client perspective on the design and the costs and so forth. The hope being that our teams begin to have experience working with real projects for which they can have an impact, and also that their projects are impacted by those real world considerations of cost and occupant need and so forth.
Great, thanks, Holly. And do they go out and solicit for design partners, or how would they find those?
Yes, so we are strongly encouraging all of our Design Challenge teams to work with a design partner or a client, if you will, for the 2021 competition. We will be posting several opportunities that teams can pursue with design partners, but we will not have certainly enough for all of our design partner or all of our student teams to find something from our website. So most student teams will want to go and find their own project that they're excited about, their own design partner, building owner, who's interested to work with you and to learn themselves more about the opportunities of zero energy design.
Great, thank you, Holly. Rachel, you had mentioned that there was a new contest, the Embodied Environmental Impact Contest. Could Holly, Joe, Rachel, could you clarify and explain a little bit more about that contest, and does it apply to both the design and the build side?
So the new Environmental Impact Contest will be available in the 2021 Design Challenge rules, and will also be used for the 2023 Build Challenge. We're excited that teams will have the opportunity to really look at the life cycle of the materials and choices they're making for the building and discuss that and the trade-offs. Holly, would you like to mention anything?
Sure. So we are opening that competition up for teams to really use the tools that they find most beneficial to their project. We do have a relationship with the one-click LCA tool, and that tool is made available to our teams, and we have some training for our teams on using that tool. There are a number of tools out there that student teams can use. And generally, the idea, as Rachel mentioned, is for our student teams to start thinking about the full life cycle of our buildings, not just building them to perform well during operations, but thinking about all of the energy that goes into building these buildings and taking them apart at the end and making perhaps different decisions based on that broader consideration.
Okay, great. Thanks, Rachel. Thanks, Holly. In regards to partnering again, mentioned the design partners and the industry partners. Can collegiate institutions partner with other collegiate institutions? And if so, are there any limitations in, regards to like how close they need to be or anything like that?
Rachel, I can take that one if you'd like.
Sure.
We absolutely encourage teams to partner, both in the design challenge and the build challenge. We love to see multidisciplinary teams, and sometimes to get all of that multidisciplinary participation, schools need to go outside of their own community and partner with another school. So if you're a school that has a really strong engineering program, but you don't have an architecture program and you'd like to bring that to bear in your project, then it makes sense probably to go out and work with another team or work with another school to bring that into your project. We do not have any specific requirements on, geographical distance or any other requirements about how teams can partner, unless, Rachel, you know something that I don't, but we encourage that, certainly.
Yep, we encourage it.
Great. So another question, can you clarify again about the when the rules will be released for the 2021 design challenge and the next build challenge in 2023?
Yes, so the 2021 Design Challenge rules will be released July 2020. And those can be found on the Solar Decathlon website. And if you haven't already subscribed, you can do that on the top of the Solar Decathlon website on the right to get notifications of that. Joe, do you want to talk about the 2023 Build Challenge rules?
Sure. So for 2023, we are pleased to be sharing the expected structure of this competition earlier than generally we've ever done in the past for the build challenge. So we hope that you use this time productively to build up institutional support. Later this summer, we do expect to release more information on the expected structure of the rules so you can plan for success. But the main full rules document that will be relatively set in stone would be released next summer, so in summer of 2021.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Rachel. Thanks, Joe. With that, we will wrap up our question and answer session. And so I want to give the speakers an opportunity to provide any closing remarks to the collegiate teams.
I'll go first. I will just say, if you're even on the fence, find a way to participate. I am a former decathlete myself from undergraduate and then led a team in graduate school. And from all the students I've worked with over the years, thousands of them at this point, this is a defining moment for setting them up for success for careers in energy efficiency, renewable energy, starting their own business, project management, whatever it might be. It's a great opportunity to learn teamwork, to learn about new technology, and follow something that you're passionate about. Find a way to build a team, build institutional support, and plan for success. We'd love to have you as part of the competition.
Thanks, Joe. This is Rachel. We are so excited to have you participate, and I agree, we would love to get you get your team application in and have you participate. One of our past students is working with us on the organizer team, and she just learned so much through the competition, and it really changed the direction of her career. And so there are just tons of opportunities for competing in the Solar Decathlon.
Thanks, Rachel. I'll just close us off by saying we're very, very pleased to have these two on-ramps to participation in Solar Decathlon, allowing folks to choose either the Design Challenge or the Build Challenge, and to transfer from the Design Challenge to the Build Challenge at some point if your team desires. So lots of new flexibility and new opportunities to be involved at the level that you and your school are able to be involved. So we look forward to being in touch with you over the next few months. Please feel free to reach out to us at the Solar Decathlon at nrel.gov email address with questions at any time. And thank you for listening.
Great, thank you. Thank you to our speakers, and thank you for everyone joining us today.